We're coming to you from the scenic backdrop of Provo, Utah on the BYU campus for the second episode of WCC All-Access. I'm Sarah Cazell, and on today's show, conference play is here. We preview the men's and women's basketball seasons with a few experts. Plus, how well do you know your teammates? 2 Cougar volleyball players are put to the test. And we go inside a practice with Portland men's hoops. Terry Porter is mic'd up as we get an all-access pass. But first, the road to Las Vegas continues. The end of December marks the start of conference play, and we preview the West Coast Conference slate. We'll start on the men's side as Sammy O'Brien talks with a trio of WCC hoops experts.
Thanks, Sarah. We're here with these 3 guys via Skype. Each one of them are play-by-play men of their respective schools. First, we have Tom Hudson from Gonzaga, Greg Wrubell from BYU, and Alex Jensen from St. Mary's College. We'll get started here first. What team has impressed you guys so far this season?
It's hard not to say San Diego. To win at Grand Canyon, that's not an easy place to play. And then after losing back-to-back games, at home against San Diego State and on the road at Santa Barbara, to come off of those 2 and, win at New Mexico State and win at Colorado, that's impressive, especially for a team that won 13 games last year. So Lamont Smith's doing an outstanding job right now. So San Diego for me, without a doubt.
Coach Smith has been in a spot where, he felt like they were going to get things going down there, and maybe a lot of other people in the league weren't quite prepared for that, but they've had a great start to the season. I think that's been one that's been nice to see. But San Diego kind of jumping up. It's nice to see a couple of teams kind of jump up and help give the league a little more credence around the country with some nice pre-conference wins.
Okay, Greg, St. Mary's was picked to win the conference by the coaches in the preseason poll. Do you think that's still the case heading into WCC play?
To me, Gonzaga's looked like the best team, and if you're going to knock the Zags off their perch, it's going to be as tall a task as it has ever been. They've reloaded, and I'm not ready to say they're better than last year's team, but they don't look far from the group that went as far as it did last year. And so, St. Mary's was a trendy pick because of all the players back, and they've looked really good on offense. But the defense isn't what Randy Bennett's used to putting on the floor right now. And that will have to change, I think, for St. Mary's to be a conference champion. The St. Mary's Gonzaga games are always very good. And no one's saying that St. Mary's can't beat Gonzaga. It's just that to this point, Gonzaga looks like the most complete and finished product right now.
And Alex, when we look at the standings at the end of February, which team is going to surprise us?
I'll say Pacific. I don't think Pacific will be in the bottom third of the conference like a lot of teams think they will be. I think, they've got a lot of new pieces, but they're going to get better as the year goes on. I'm saying Pacific also because I've already taken San Diego, and I think San Diego will certainly outdo their projection from the coaches poll in the beginning of the year. But I'll go out on a limb and I'll take Pacific, and I'll say Damon Stoudemire has that team competing in the 5 to 7 range by the end of the season.
All right, guys, name a few players to keep an eye on as conference play approaches.
Zach Norvell Jr. has been a very interesting kid for Gonzaga. He was injured last year, had a slight knee injury. He redshirted, wasn't really quite able to get on track last year, and with all the depth you had, just wasn't able to make it into the rotation. And then with Corey Kispert getting injured early in the season for GU, Zach moved into the lineup and had 3 straight 20-point games, played really well offensively. He might be a guy that continues to play well that people might notice. I think the talent level is really good in the WCC right now. There's some fun individual players, and I think a few of those guys are going to jump up and really make some noise this year.
I like to go back to San Diego with the 2 Isaiahs. Pinheiro and Wright have really rounded that team out in a hurry. And those 2 newcomers to the program have had an immediate impact on what San Diego is doing. St. Mary's players are so well known, they're not really names to look for because we know them all so well. But it doesn't take away from how great, say, a Jock Landale is, for example. And the Zags, you can just run down the roster for players to keep an eye on, newcomers and veterans. BYU has a player in Yoli Childs that has, reestablished himself as an all-conference candidate. TJ Haas for the Cougars as an all-conference pick last year is another guy that should have a good league campaign as well.
The 2 guys at BYU who have been impressive so far, Yoli Childs and Elijah Bryant, averaging 16.2 points per game. I think that's what the number is. And Childs, the same deal as Tilly. Without Eric Mika in the picture, he's really getting a chance to showcase his athleticism and his skill, especially around the basket. And then TJ Haas, he's kind of got off to a slow start through the first few games, but he's starting to pick it up now. So But I think the one guy you have to look at, the conference Player of the Year favorite, is Jock Landau. I mean, you look at his numbers and it can blow you away a little bit.
All right, thanks for joining us, guys. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sammy. This season marks the 10th anniversary of the WCC Basketball Championships in Las Vegas. Let's look back at one of the most memorable moments over the last decade.
Stockton going to the basket. Stockton spins it in. No timeouts for the Broncos. 1.4.
That was just David making a great play, just being able to go coast to coast, a new time and score, and knew that's how we want to react to in-game situations. Is we don't want to stop. We just want to get the ball in and attack, and just made a great clutch, big-time individual play. He's always been a very good finisher, and obviously a great decision maker.
What a finish here in Las Vegas. A hard-fought win, and David Stockton comes through.
Coming up next, we go down the coast to see what's happening on campus.
And yes, they're teammates, but they're also sisters. We find out just how well BYU's Lindy and Lacey Haddock know each other when we return.
WCC All-Access is brought to you in part by Nike.
Big players coming up big at big times. This one is over, and Gonzaga has won.
Time for an update on the WCC Commissioner's Cup given to the top performing schools during conference play. After the fall sports season, BYU maintains a slight edge over San Francisco. The Cougars and Dons both won 2 WCC championships this fall. BYU is the 5-time defending champion of the Cup. Welcome back. I'm Sarah Cazell. It's time to go down the coast and see what's making headlines on campus. We start with some exciting news out of the conference office. West Coast Conference Commissioner Lynn Holzman has been named the Vice President of Women's Basketball at the NCAA. In that role, she'll be responsible for growing the game at the Divisions 1, 2, and 3 levels. Holzman joined the conference office in 2012 and has served as WCC boss since 2014. Best of luck, Commish. On to Stockton, where Pacific head men's tennis coach Ryan Redondo will be sticking around for a while. The 2016 WCC Coach of the Year received a 5-year extension that will keep him at UOP through 2022. In addition to mentoring the Tigers, Redondo has played a key role in creating the Eve Zimmerman Tennis Center, including the brand new Roy and Jean Sanders Clubhouse. In Portland, a hero among us, as assistant rowing coach Playman Petrov was given the life-saving award from the Portland Police after coming to the aid of a rower who had a heart attack and fell into the water. Petrov rescued the rower and performed CPR until paramedics arrived. Very well done. And finally, here in Provo, former Major League All-Star first baseman Wally Joyner will return to campus in late January to host the BYU Baseball First Pitch fundraising dinner. Joyner played for the Cougars from 1981 to 1983 before launching a 16-year career in the majors. We head back to the hardwood now for a preview of the women's basketball season. Will someone unseat Gonzaga, or will the Bulldogs defend their title? Sammy O'Brien breaks it down with BYU TV's Kristen Kozlowski.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, Kristen, while Gonzaga was picked by the coaches to win the preseason poll, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think they'll still be the ones to win it in the end?
I think Gonzaga is a team that has rightfully earned that respect in this conference. They've won 12 out of the last 13 regular season titles. And they're a team that has depth, they have firepower, they can come into this season and maintain that first place spot, but they have to stay healthy. And Jill Barta, who their offense revolves around, their defense revolves around, she's a player that averages a double-double and a player that they have to keep healthy. Injured herself against Washington State. So if they can stay healthy, I really think that they will do well and maintain that spot.
What are some teams to keep an eye on as we head closer to conference play?
I like the way that LMU has played. They started very well to start their season this year, and winning their first 5 games, and I think Charity Elliott has done a great job. She has players in there that have returned, a great core nucleus, but she's brought in transfers, and one of which out of Cal, she played 2 years at Cal, 6'2" Gabby Green, and I think Gabby Green at 6'2", she is a nightmare on the perimeter in terms of matchups, but the combination with her and Cheyenne Wallace is a great 1-2 punch. And then I also like St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's is a team that is always physical. They battle, they have a high IQ. He brings in players that know the game, that understand the game. And for them, their biggest challenge is going to be taking care of the basketball.
You mentioned a couple players in there, but are there some other players that we should keep an eye on as conference play approaches?
Well, most definitely. Obviously, Jill Barta from Gonzaga, and then you can't forget the WCC Player of the Year last season in Cassie Broadhead DeVagere. She got married in the offseason, but she's a player, dropped 36, career high against Utah, and a player that can change the momentum of the game, take over the game for BYU.
Anything else specifically? You're here working for BYU TV. Anything else to watch for them?
Well, for BYU, I think that they have a good returning core. They lost some great players, but I think it's going to be their depth, and that's been the biggest challenge for Coach Dedkins is his depth, is having players on the bench that he can turn to, one of which that I love how they play with is Sarah Hampson. 6'7" freshman. She comes in, she's a rim protector. She's fantastic, and she's a player, had 9 blocks against the University of Utah, huge rival game for them. So came in, was a big spark for them, and you may recognize that name. Her older sister, Jennifer Hampson, played for BYU, was the 2014 West Coast Conference Player of the Year, and so a great family where she's coming from.
Just lastly here, when we look at the standings at the end of February, what do you think we're going to see?
Well, I think it's going to be very similar. I think traditionally the West Coast Conference has had a top 3 teams and a clear-cut line, but I think this year that line is dissolving a little bit. I think that the middle pack of the conference has improved, and you're seeing improvements in the bottom. And so some teams that I think might surprise you, maybe Pepperdine, who has a new coach in Milton Jones. She brings a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge for this team. They're excited about having a new coach, but they may be able to sneak some games, you know, as we go into the season. Players like Robinson Baycoat, who is fantastic, but she needs a supporting cast to help her out. And so as these teams evolve and finish out their preseason and look forward to the West Coast Conference season, it's who can gel the most and really be ready to play at a high level.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Kristen. Back to you, Sarah.
All right, same court, different sport. Volleyball requires teammates to be on the same page at all times, and we want to see exactly how well they gel together. Here are BYU twins Lacey and Lindy Haddock in a segment we call Know Your Teammates.
Sammy O'Brien here at BYU on campus with Lindy and Lacey Haddock. As you can obviously see, both twin sisters on the BYU volleyball team here at school. We're going to play a little game with you guys today, if that is all right. We've given them whiteboards. We'll give them 10 seconds each to write down their answers, and we'll just try and get to know them a little bit better. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right. We'll start off first with who is older. Okay.
Ready?
You guys ready?
Yep.
Show it to the camera.
I should have wrote my name. Read it. You gotta read it.
All right, good start. Who is taller?
No way. I've been taller my whole life. That's not true.
The past 2 years.
All right, so we'll get going here and we'll do a little trade-off now. So we'll start off first. What is Lindy's favorite color?
Ready?
Yeah.
Yes. See that.
All right, we'll get into the next one. We'll do Lacey's favorite food.
What's my favorite food?
I have no idea.
Wait.
You even have a favorite food?
Yes.
Okay.
Tacos. That's your favorite food.
Not. Sushi.
What's her favorite food?
Okay, and then we'll go with Lacey's celebrity crush.
Oh, you should know this.
I know this. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Yeah, I got
she
it.
knows me.
It's easy.
That was easy.
We watched Hunger Games this week.
Who takes longer to get ready?
Ready, go.
You get ready more than I do, so I just take that
But
as...
when you do get ready, it's like 45 minutes.
Okay, that's true. I'm changing mine.
That's
That's true.
Similar.
It is
Ready,
me.
1, 2, 3.
It is me.
And lastly, what's the most common way people tell you guys apart?
Yes, we did the same thing.
Yeah, I got it. Hair color.
Yeah. Well, growing up, I always had like super dark hair. She always had blonde hair.
We would do that so people could tell us apart.
Yeah.
Then we got to college and we were like, I don't care.
Yeah, we're like, take so much money to dye my hair. So it's been more similar, but generally that's been the go-to.
Well, it seems like you guys know each other pretty well. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this today.
Thank you.
When we come back, we look at some of the best Twitter and Instagram posts from WCC players and teams. And Terry Porter lets us in on a practice. We go onto the hardwood with Portland men's basketball when we return.
Students are the heart of BYU because we believe learning should not just be informative, it should be inspiring.
Big players coming up big at big times.
This one is over and Gonzaga has won.
Let's take a look at some of the best moments on social media from across the conference. The Final Four isn't that far off, and a friendly reminder that the only important statistic is the final score. Wise words from the greatest winner in basketball history, USF's Bill Russell. Another WCC Hoops alum making a name for himself in the pros is Domantas Sabonis. Look at this shot from his Instagram page. The former Zag getting some serious air in Indianapolis. And WCC mascots are in the holiday spirit. Both Power Cat from Pacific and Iggy the Lion from LMU donning the festive gear to spread some holiday cheer. We're back on WCC All-Access from the beautiful BYU campus. I'm Sarah Cazell. Portland made a splash last year when it hired NBA All-Star Terry Porter as its head coach, and he's steering the Pilots in the right direction. Let's listen in on a practice as we give you inside access.
So we're going to dribble handoff. You're going to come off, pull up. Then you're just going to pop it. I'm going to hit you on the pop. When I blow the whistle, it's going to be a shot open. Rebound! Go rebound! All right, here we go. Good job, good job. Here we go, here we go. Be strong with that thing. Go get it. Good, D. Good, good, good. If you get a rebound, we don't want you to do this. This is the last thing you're going to do. What's going to happen if you do this? They're going to come, so you got to chin it. Be strong with it and just chin it. Right? And then you got to pivot to make room. We're going to work on one of the things we think we're going to see in regards to a coverage from them. So we're going to go our side pick and roll action, and they're going to blitz it. One-man pop there. All right, but this guard on the blitz action, we got 1 or 2 dribbles. We want to get off that thing quick. All right, get off the ball, advance it, and then let's scan the rim first. If we don't have any type of skip pass to the 4-man or 5, whoever set that screen, 4 is going to pop, 5 is going to roll to the basket, and then we look on this side and we just play basketball. Dribble, handoff, DHO, and just attack. You come up, set a screen on this side. We want this guard to attack the single defender. All right, come off this, he's going to get past it. Make him make a decision. What is he going to do? If he comes, great, kick it. If he doesn't, you're going to have a passing chance to score. Fist out, 14, fist out 14. Got him, look for him, look for him, look for him. Good job, good job, good job, good job.
As you probably know, Coach is a legend in the city of Portland, so what better way to tour the city than with a longtime Portland resident? On the February 3rd episode of WCC This Week, we'll show you our tour of the town with TP, including a special stop at the one and only Voodoo Donuts. When we come back, we talk favorite holiday movies with some of our WCC Hoopers. And we relive some of the best plays on the court over the last month. Stay Stay tuned for more WCC All-Access.
And right to the rim, up and in! Oh, it's a circus shot! And a cannon blast from McKay!
Every game has a hero. Every award requires time, sacrifice. Every champion tells a story. And every story must begin with a dream. The West Coast Conference.
Here's what to watch for over the next few weeks. With conference play now underway, the 2018 WCC Basketball Championships will be here before we know it. An extremely limited number of tickets will be made available to the general public beginning January 3rd. For more information, visit WCCsports.com. As you know by now, this year's tournament marks the 10th anniversary of the WCC Hoops Championships in Las Vegas, and we need your help in determining the all-time Las Vegas tournament teams. Log on to WCCsports.com to cast your ballots. And with conference play here, there's no better way to stay connected than to download the brand new WCC Sports app, now available for Apple and Android devices.
Maybe it's the 24-hour marathon of A Christmas Story, or maybe it's the classic Miracle on 34th Street. Our basketball players and coaches had some interesting answers when we asked them, what is your favorite holiday movie? Take a look.
I think it's got to be Elf.
Elf, yes, yeah.
Elf. You don't even have to finish the, I mean, really?
Elf is always a good one.
We watch Elf, so Elf's probably now becoming one of the classics, if it already wasn't a classic.
Elf. Elf is funny.
Elf
That's a good
or Christmas Vacation. Those two,
yeah.
top two. But Elf takes
for
it.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to classify it as a Christmas movie, Die Hard. It gets discussed. Is it a Christmas movie? It's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
It's kind of crazy. The holiday movie we watch, me and my sons watch, is Rocky. We watch all the Rockies on Christmas Day. So it's, when I think of holiday movies, I think of that.
Santa Claus. When he gets fat in the day or something like that, I feel like it's the holidays when I watch that movie. What's the second Friday movie? Next Friday?
Next Friday.
Next Friday, that one.
That's a holiday movie?
There's like Christmas a little bit.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It kind of takes place.
Yes, it is.
I'll disagree with you on that one. Come on, man.
You said Die Hard.
That came out during the holidays, like at Christmas. He went to a Christmas party. He left New York to go visit his wife in a company Christmas party.
Oh.
It takes over.
Okay. I guess I misunderstood the question then. My bad.
Well, that'll do it from Provo. Thank you for watching WCC All Access. We leave you with some of the very best plays from around the West Coast Conference. See you next time.
Pulled down by Perkins. Nice toss to Killian Tilly.
Wow, how about the look off by Perkins? I thought he was actually going to kick it out to the corner. Went back the other way up top to Tilly.
By the play, Flug. And it behind her to Fesky with two. Fesky up with it, off the window and in. Wow.
Marks in baseline two.
Woo!
Oh my goodness. James Bateman.
Your point guard.
Nowhere.
With the tip dunk, Aaron. Wow. That was nice.
That one's stuffed away, but right into the hands of McSwiggan. Lucky bounce from the Pilots. Down to 11 to shoot. Here's Hartwich, and he puts it home again, and the foul! A little bit of nasty there from Hartwich.
Ulu Summers. Gianna drive. Running one-hander, no good. Tipped up and in. Beautiful. Put back by Desire Finney at the buzzer.
And here comes Coleman again attacking. And again, can't find anything on the offensive end. This time Hermanson making his presence felt.
5, now 4, into the corner to Jarvis Pugh. KJ Fake fires a 3 and banks it in. Unbelievable. KJ with a big grin. He can't believe it. It was really a prayer, and that time it was answered.
McKay drives past his man right to the rim, up and in! Oh, it's a circus shot and a cannon blast from McKay, and the Cougars by 11.